is hot today, baby. What's happening, everybody? Friday, October 3rd, 2025. My name is Kevin Smith, and I am pissed off. Today's show is going to be absolute fire. Oh, boy, am I mad. Oh, boy, am I pissed off. I promise you that will come out in my in my commentary today. Rumble.com/LFATV. Guys, make sure you keep it locked in here all day long for all of the news. Do me a favor and hit the thumbs up button. You're going to want to share this one out. You're going to want to share this one out as Portland PD has begun arresting journalists who were assaulted by fat militants. This time it happened to be one of my friends. One of the best independent reporters probably in the country. We're going to get into all the details of that. Also, Kash Patel has decided that it's going to end the federal government's working with the Southern Poverty Law Center, which is great because maybe now they can take me off of their stupid hate watch list that I've been on for the last 5 years. We're going to talk about that. I don't think I'm a hateful person. I just hate assholes. I have asshole repellent. And, well, apparently that lands you on an anti-government extremism list. We'll talk about all of those things. I am hot today. I am pissed off. Also, President Trump, his crackdown in Memphis is working while rioters attempt to take over an ICE facility in Illinois. I'm hot. I am hot today. I am hot today. Oh, I'm really pissed off today. Oh, I'm really mad. I'm sure many of the other hosts have been talking about it throughout the day, so I'm sure many of you are fully aware of the news at this point. But Nick Sorter, who is a good friend of mine, Nick and I were on the ground together in Chicago at the DNC covering the events. Here's me and Nick. Me, Nick, and Liam, and my buddy Chad Caton at the Trump rally at Nassau Coliseum. Nick even stayed on my couch a couple of months ago while we were covering, actually, for that event. Well, he was arrested in Portland last night after he was assaulted by far left radicals. And why? Why was he assaulted? Why? What did he do? What did he do? Well, it turns out someone set an American flag on fire, and Nick decided to put it out.
We got a Trump supporter. Right here.
Oh, he's putting it on the ground and he's making it worse. And now he's standing
Hey, good here, motherfucker.
Now he's standing on it. You're not supposed to stand on it. Oh, now he thinks he's saving it.
For that, he was then attacked by a group of far-left radicals. Here was Fox's reporting of that.
Dana, good morning to you. I can tell you there was a whole lot of tension out here last night. We witnessed a violent fist fight that left a man unconscious and injured. We saw the American flag being burned. We saw people getting maced in the face. And then once again, we saw a bunch of clashes with federal agents. We'll dive right into the video. Take a look. This was last night, one of those clashes. You see federal agents bull rushing, coming out of the building and arresting a protester who had stepped onto federal property despite repeated warnings. There were protesters on a megaphone taunting the feds, saying, "What are you going to do if we step on the property?" Well, that person found out. There's another video we had showing agents chasing down and arresting a separate protester, though it's unclear exactly what she was detained for. Then take a look at this. This was that violent fight. These two men had been jawing at each other all night long. Then the fists started flying. The man in the white shirt was pro-ice, the black shirt anti-ice. He was the one who got laid out with a punch to the face. And minutes later, we saw him appear to collapse with federal agents and then go limp with some serious swelling to his face. Those feds had to carry him inside their building for medical attention. But Dana, Bill, there was no Portland police out here to intervene during any of this. It's an issue that the Portland ICE director told me has been an ongoing problem due to local politics. Take a listen.
Not really supposed to respond to this building. There have been folks that have been assaulted right down here on the street, even across the street, and it takes Portland police a while to respond, or sometimes they don't respond at all.
Is that frustrating?
It is frustrating. It's frustrating for us to watch people be attacked on the street and know that we don't have the authority to be able to really step in unless there's some nexus to federal law. That's frustrating for us.
So then just do it. Then just do it. Because apparently Portland police have absolute, and this pisses me off so much. And look, I want to be clear. I support the cops. There's a gaggle of you out there that for some reason, I don't know why, thinks that like the moment a person puts on a badge, they immediately become a better person, which isn't true. Turns out cops are infallible too. And maybe if we were able to call out when they fuck up, maybe you would get some more grace from the public. But when this sort of crap happens and you just allow it to happen, here is the altercation that led to Nick getting arrested last night, with Portland police watching it happen and not doing anything.
This is America. This is America. This is America. This is America.
You saw him start that. You all push me. Tell whatever fucking narrative you want. You all of you have eyes. This is exactly what they put that fucking gun down.
Come on, come and get him! Touch him! Come and get him, too! What are y'all allowed to do something? Take pictures for a fucking reason,
I can
motherfucker!
take pictures of wherever I want. We're in public. This is
I
America.
didn't even ask you.
This is, I don't care.
Just watching, not doing a damn thing. Not doing a damn thing about it. And as you saw from the first Fox News video, it turns out when the police put their thumb up their asses, it turns out people end up getting seriously hurt.
You guys were calling it a case.
Oh, it's like a sausage!
Now look, I want to be clear. Am I happy that that bald bitch got knocked out? Yeah, I am. I do. I enjoy watching this tub of goo get put down. But as you'll find out in like 2 seconds, oh look, who's on their way over, everybody? As the crowd amasses. Oh, look who decided to show up. Oh, right in the nick of time, boys. Right in the nick of time. Yeah. It turns out, look, and I want to be clear, I don't care that that fat Antifa member got knocked out for being an asshole. I don't care. However, if he had hit that guy and he went down and hit his head on the cement and died, that guy would be going to jail because Portland police, I guess, I don't know, maybe their union is telling them, oh no, don't go out there. It's federal property. You can't cover that. Or maybe because they have some captain, some guy wearing a white shirt who's a pussy and doesn't want to get involved. So, after that altercation happened, Nick walks across the street, gets out of the way, de-escalates the situation, and then he is arrested.
Whoa.
And then he is arrested. This is what we're dealing with here.
What's your name?
This is what we're dealing with here. Reporters who get assaulted by anarchists who want to burn down cities leave the scene and then are arrested by cowards. I want to be clear. Those who sit by and say nothing while bad things happen are just as bad as the people doing it. Like the old saying goes, they might not have all been Nazis. Some of them were just good Germans. Okay? You'll understand the reference. If you're a cop and you sit by and you allow this shit to happen, you're no better than the people doing it. And I have no problem supporting the good cops, not pansies like this who ride around on their little bicycles while arresting journalists. while arresting journalists for doing their job. I'm pissed off right now. I'm real mad. Because guess what? The people that assaulted Nick would see those cops killed almost instantly. And they would laugh at their death. Instead, the cops arrest the reporter, the guy who was assaulted. Those cops are fucking cowards. And I'm sorry, I'm hot right now. I'm hot right now. I can think of a few other coward cops out there, but we'll save that for another show. I'm pissed off. Fox News ended up catching up with Nick after he was released from prison. Here was Fox.
Yeah, Harris, good afternoon to you. We did talk to Nick pretty much minutes after he was released from jail this morning, so we asked him what went down last night. What he told us is he was out here filming protesters as they were getting maced by federal agents, and he said it was a little embarrassing for the protesters because they were shrieking and crying about having the mace in their eyes, so they didn't like being recorded. So they kind of chased him down the street a little bit, then surrounded him and pushed him down into a flower bed. He says they then punched and assaulted him, and he tried to defend himself. Take a listen.
So they threw multiple punches at me. They broke my camera by hitting that. So I was on the ground at that point. I tried to swing. I missed. I saw the opportunity to get up and get away. And that's when I went over to the police officers, which I thought, maybe they'd help me. But no, instead they threw me in handcuffs. This is going to backfire on them tremendously. It already is, okay? People knew that something out here stunk and that it was corrupt and that the police they take the side of the violent criminals that are here every single day, assaulting ICE officers, assaulting journalists. And then a reporter comes and, tries to embed deep within the chaos that's going in out here, and he's the one that gets arrested?
And Nick went on to say he got a personal phone call from Attorney General Pam Bondi informing him that DOJ is launching a full investigation into the Portland Police Bureau in relation to his arrest out here last night. But it doesn't stop there. DHS also giving their reaction to this, announcing that as a result of this arrest, DHS is going to be surging CBP and ICE here to Portland. And the city of Portland was already unhappy with how much ICE was out here in the first place. All of this happening in the context that the National Guard is being deployed out here. They just haven't shown up yet, guys. We'll send it back to you.
He's really fortunate. He wasn't hurt in all of that when you talk about the property damage that he suffered, and now the feds are looking.
And look, I want to be clear about something, all right? And good. I hope they do launch an investigation, and I hope the cops that did that get fired. Not put on paid leave, not put on desk duty, not lose a week's vacation. I hope you get shit canned. I hope you do. I hope you do. I hope any corrupt cop does. I hope any corrupt cop, any dirty cop, is fired and is shamed in public. I don't care who you are. And I want to be clear, man. Nick Sorter, for those of you who don't know, look, maybe I'm biased because I'm friends with Nick. As I said, he stayed with me a bunch of times here in New York and in Chicago, all over the country, CPACs and Turning Point events. Maybe I'm a little biased. But Nick Sorter is responsible for some of the biggest stories that you don't even know. East Palestine, Ohio. The first reporter on the ground was Nick Sorter. The first. You know that video of J.D. Vance throwing the rock into the river and you see the chemicals spreading out in the river? That was Nick Sorter's video. Nick slept in a car in Maui to get the stories about what had happened there after the wildfires. He has got more balls than 99% of the reporters I know. And I've seen it firsthand. I'm a pretty ballsy guy. I got no problem jumping into some heavy stuff. Nick's got bigger balls than I could dream of having. and to watch him get arrested, because this is what they'll do. This is how police operate, okay? If there's 100 people beating the shit out of one, they will detain the one person who's doing nothing wrong in order to just diffuse the situation. Instead of, I don't know, doing the job you signed up for and arresting criminals. What, your district attorney doesn't lock up criminals? That's not your job. Your job is to detain them. And yes, I have no doubt that it's frustrating when you see a guy who you arrested at noon out back on the street at 7 p.m. I have no doubt that that's frustrating. But I hate to break it to you guys, you signed up for it. You signed up for it. I hope Nick sues the shit out of the Portland Police Department, the Portland District Attorney, everyone in the city of Portland. I hope next time I see Nick, I'm staying on his couch in his McMansion somewhere so that he can keep doing the hard work that the corporate press refuses to do. Well, polls say, because Abby Phillip could never work hard enough to get her lazy ass out on the street to cover a story accurately. Caitlin Collins couldn't get out there with her resting Joker face to find out exactly what's happening. They have to rely on Twitter to get the videos. And who gets those Twitter videos? People like Nick Sorter. Guys, look, if you're on X right now, or if you're a Twitter user, guys, go to Nick's page, subscribe to his page. I don't even know how much it's probably like $5 a month or something. Support Nick Sorter's work. I'm sure there are going to be pro bono lawyers all over the damn country who are going to be jumping on this like piranhas to sue the shit out of the city of Portland. But support Nick's work. His X handle is at Nick Sorter, Sortor. He's a great guy. And to see him get arrested like this, it is beyond frustrating. Now, of course, that would never happen to a left-wing journalist, which we'll get into in just a second, because of organizations like the ADL and organizations like the Southern Poverty Law Center. But we've got more angry riots and more crime happening all over the country. It's happening everywhere. Before we get to that, here was Nick on Jack's show yesterday, in the last hour, I think it had to be. Red Jack goes on at 2, I think. Here was Nick on Posobiec.
Nick, we're just about out of time. Thank you. I'm glad you're safe. Thank you for what you're doing. Final question. Do you plan to go back?
Dude, I'm not leaving. I extended the hotel for another week. They're not going to get rid of me. It's going to get worse for them.
Let's go. Nick Sortor. I had to ask the question, but there was no question in my mind. There was no doubt in my mind. Go follow Nick. If you want to support Nick, make sure you go supporting him. X, is that the spot, Nick?
That's the spot. Everybody else will just ban me.
Yeah, guys, so head on over. He's not leaving. He's staying in Portland for another week. Good. Do it again, Nick. Damn, I wish I didn't have something to do. I have this Montauk rally this weekend. It's going to be absolutely awesome. But I'll tell you something. If I didn't, I'd be on a plane to Portland right now. I would be on a plane to Portland right now. Real guerrilla journalism. Real on-the-ground stuff. None of this staying in the Radisson crap. I'm talking about where you put... For all my Twitter people out there, go ask Mark Norton. We put like 12 people, this is at the DNC in Chicago. We put like 12 people into like a $40 a night Airbnb so that we could go cover the protest outside of the convention center in Chicago. That's guerrilla journalism. That's being on the ground. That's doing what it takes to get the story. Not these asshats that wear makeup on television. Man, I haven't been out in a while. I love it. And there's so many more, man. There's so many more that do it. Savannah Hernandez and Cam Higbee. Great reporters out there. The people out there that say that the media sucks and nobody's out there is just because you're following the wrong people. It's just because you're following the wrong people. Let me tell you that, because there are so many reporters out there doing the hard work, out in the streets, getting the story. Ben Bergquam, obviously, Ben, I don't mean to leave you. I didn't mean to leave you out. Obviously, Ben got bigger. I watched Ben rip a burning American flag out of the hands of two radicals that had, and I want to be clear, these were real radicals. These weren't like, these weren't this guy. I watched Ben Bergquam tear an American flag out of the hands of actual radicals, not this fat kid from yesterday. No, real ones. You know how I know they were real ones? Because when we were on the ground in Chicago, Bill Ayers and Bernadine Dorn were out there on the street, just roaming around. Bernadine Dorn, who spent 20 years on the FBI's most wanted list for blowing up a bomb at the Capitol. Real anarchists, real leftists. That's who's organizing these entire things. That's who's teaching these people. I know we made fun of that fat kid yesterday, but there are actual radicals out there. So for Nick to stay in Portland for another week, guys, once again, go support Nick over there on X. Hit that subscribe. Again, can I pull up Nick's X real quick? Where is it? Here it is. Let me lower that. Here's Nick's X page. Boom. Can I? Yeah, right there. So, guys, just click that subscribe button. It's the purple button right there. Click that. I think it's, what is it, $5 a month? $3 a month. Which one of you can't afford $3 a month? Who can't afford $3 a month? Let's be honest here. Boom. Do that, and that's how people like Nick Sorter can continue to kick asses and get this story all over the country. Guys, we'll be back in 1 second. Here's Old Glory Bank.
When big banks decide who gets access to America's financial systems and who doesn't, who do you think gets left out? Middle Americans who proudly wave their pro-America values. Cancel culture in banking is corrosive. It limits your participation in a vibrant, free market economy. Fortunately, you can fight back. You now have the opportunity to invest in the bank that's investing in a fair American banking system, one based in freedom. Ownership in Old Glory Bank, the pro-America online bank, is here. Old Glory Bank is a full-service FDIC-insured bank that's the alternative to overreaching, un-American big banks. We stand for privacy, security, and liberty. We stand for freedom, family, faith, and the flag. We stand for all the values you stand for, and for the values big banks can't stand. So help keep banking in the hands of Main Street, not Wall Street. To invest in Old Glory Bank, go to oldglorybank.com.
Guys, head on over to oldglorybank.com. That's oldglorybank.com. Lock in some of those interest rates today before Jerome Powell loses his job or wakes up, guys. Take a little bit of money, diversify, open up some CDs with Old Glory Bank. That is the way to do it. But, of course, Portland isn't the only shithole in this country that is being taken over by radical leftists. There's also Illinois, outside of a Chicago ICE facility, where we are seeing more and more riots breaking out over the getting rid of illegal immigrants. Hey, instead of waving the cars in, why not take out those handcuffs that are glued to your hip doing nothing? Something to think about. I don't look. I know I'm not a cop, okay? But I watch enough TV to know that you arrest the people breaking the law, and then you let the rest work itself out. Because if you arrest one, the rest will disperse. It's not really that challenging. Here's another scene.
Yeah, well, early in the morning, things are getting started off pretty hot here. You remember earlier, let's come this way. So you had all these protesters that were here on this corner, filling these sides of both streets. What appears to have happened is Secretary Kristi Noem was getting ready to pull out of it. So Border Patrol came with a large contingent to clear out everyone from the sides of these roads to make sure that they could get out safely and securely. So that is what we saw earlier when we saw the tear gas mask being put on by all law enforcement officers on both sides. And if you come over here a little bit, Tomas, if we zoom in down here, you can see we have at least 10 people that have been arrested so far this morning. And from those that we saw that were arrested, that was when law enforcement was trying to push them back to get them out of the way. And at least several of those that we saw started fighting back against the officers and ended up getting taken to the ground and eventually arrested. That would put us close to 40 arrests that have been made during these protests over the last month or so now. And we have seen multiple vans that have been coming through, vehicles that are now able to come in and out through this ICE processing facility. Earlier, we didn't see very many coming through here just because of how many protesters were here. We know this is the first time in more than a month that these protests have been going on that state and local police have actually sent out a contingent large enough to do any type of crowd control here. It is, up until now, it has been left up to federal law enforcement to clear protesters out who have been trying to block access to this processing facility. Today, State Patrol, officers from the sheriff's office, they have been out here. Border Patrol came out, though, because clearly what was being set up to block this road off was not enough for them to feel like it was secure for agents to be coming in and out, bringing those that they have arrested, as well as Secretary Noem.
And Garrett, can you tell us a little bit more also about whether do you think it's is this?
I mean, it's wild that this is being allowed to happen. And they're all just standing around with their thumbs up their asses. I'm sorry, they are. They are. You block a federal facility, you get put in handcuffs. I'm not sure why this is complicated. I'm not sure what about this I'm not getting. Someone explain this to me. Explain this to me as if I'm a small child, okay? It's absolute crap. And you know what? Normally I wouldn't be all too thrilled with the federal crackdown that we're seeing on American cities. Normally I would say that maybe President Trump ought to chill out a little bit. But you know what? No. Not anymore. Not anymore. Keep going. Lock them all up. I don't really care. We'll talk about Memphis in just a second. Before we do that, here's Jeremy.
Hey, everybody. How you doing? Well, it's that time of year again, isn't it? My favorite time of year. Fall. Oh, I love the leaves. I love the autumn smell. I love the pumpkins. I love it all. Right before the snow flies. But what I don't love that comes with the cold weather and the fall weather is the flu, are the sniffles, the cold. All those common cold sniffles that you get every year. And if you have kids in the house, little kids going to and fro school, and they're coming back and they're touching everything and they're bringing the bacteria and all those viruses home from school, you don't want anything to do with that. You want to be proactive rather than reactive. That's why we're going to talk about propolis today. You know what propolis is? Well, ladies and gentlemen, propolis is what works as a barrier to keep the beehive absolutely safe. And what am I talking about? Well, Beekeepers Naturals. Now, my wife really turned me on to this. This is an endorsement of my wife and then myself as well. Beekeepers Naturals, folks, that is exactly what this is. This is a proactive rather than a reactive, all natural, all clean alternative to big food and big pharma. You've got your Beekeepers vitamin C packs, which are perfect for on the go, right? You've got your Beekeepers Propolis nasal spray. A few shots up the nose, clears out your nostrils, cleans any congestion that you have, and it's all natural, and it's going to work as a proactive barrier to any of that unwanted bacteria getting in. How about the Beekeepers All Natural Propolis Immune Throat Spray? 3 or 4 pumps of that a day, and anything that you're breathing in is going to be either repelled or killed right away. That's the amazing thing about propolis, and that is the amazing thing about Beekeepers Naturals. And I got a 20% discount for you. What's better than that? 20% discount. Look, you can even get the throat soothing pops and the kids prebiotic fiber pops along with the throat spray, along with the nasal spray, along with the vitamin C packs. Folks, They've got it all, and it's an all-natural, clean, beautiful option for you to have in order to, get away from the big food, get away from the big pharma, and go more natural, especially with a 20% discount. How can you not go to Beekeepers Naturals today /LFA and get your 20% discount? Clean out your medicine cabinet today with beekeepers.com/LFA. And now back to the show.
So guys, back to the crime story. President Trump cracking down in Memphis, Tennessee, one of the deadliest places on earth, sending federal troops in. And it's amazing, on just the first day, the amount of arrests and illegal guns that were taken off the streets. Now, Democrats, you would think Democrats would love guns being taken off the street, but they don't. They just want guns taken out of your hands. They would love that. Here was Fox reporting on the crackdown in Memphis.
Attorney General Pam Bondi says that the Memphis Safe Task Force is making an incredible impact throughout the city after just 72 hours on the ground. Madison Scarpino joins us live from Memphis with the details. Good morning, Madison.
Good morning, Lawrence. The arrests so far include a Trende Aragua gang member and a man wanted for rape of a child. Earlier on Fox and Friends, Tennessee Governor Bill Lee called this task force a generational opportunity.
It's really exciting to think that a city that has been held back by crime for so long, a great city that has a great future, but that's been held back for so long, is going to have the opportunity for Memphians have the opportunity to live safely again.
AG Bondi says in just the first 72 hours, they arrested 93 criminals and got 28 illegal guns off the streets. She says her message to law enforcement is simple. We have your back.
28 illegal guns taken off the street. That's 28 people who aren't dead today. Democrats naturally in an uproar about this because rich white people in New York who never have to live in these sorts of neighborhoods, rich people in D.C. who never have to deal with the 7th and 8th Ward, rich people in L.A. who wouldn't be caught dead on Crenshaw Boulevard if you paid them, never have to live with the policies and the consequences never have to live with the consequences of the policies, that they advocate for. If subway crime is up, that doesn't affect Abby Phillip because she doesn't take the subway. If you've got a doorman, you don't have to worry about homeless people taking a piss in your vestibule because your doorman shoos them off. You don't have to worry about the gangs taking over your housing projects because you live in a brownstone in Brooklyn. Yet you advocate for the policies that would decimate poor communities. And then you criticize the people who are trying to make it better. There's a bunch of liberal idiots online right now, a bunch of schmucks, one might say, who are very, very upset because it turns out today President Trump has bombed another Venezuelan boat. Here's the Venezuelan boat, and now it's not there anymore. Now it's gone. Poof, there it goes. Absolutely disappeared. I could watch that on loop all day long. And idiots like the Krasensteins online says Trump's military has taken the lives of 4 more civilians as they bomb a civilian boat in the waters of Venezuela, calling it a war crime. No, it's protecting American citizens. Imagine this. Imagine a war on drugs. We all remember the war on drugs. Nixon, all through Reagan. We had to sit through Nancy Reagan and her Just Say No campaign. And then in the 90s, we had to sit through DARE, which, of course, didn't really teach us anything about drugs except how to use them. The 2000s, we sat through the opioid epidemic. We almost got rid of that. But, some people got their friend Richard Sackler off. Don't go watch Painkiller. It's going to change your opinion of a certain conservative icon. Crack, heroin. Last 50 years, we've been decimated by drugs in this country. And we always punish the user or the dealer. Never have we punished the people bringing the shit into the country. Now, these Venezuelan cartels are starting to realize that if you put drugs on a boat, we're gonna blow you out of the water. We're just gonna blow you up. And there's no soft way to say this, so I'll just say it directly. If we blew up a speedboat with drugs on it from another country, attempting to bring those drugs into America, if we did that every day, I don't care. I don't care. If we bomb the coca fields in Colombia or the fentanyl dens that the Mexican drug cartels are operating south of the border, I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care. Do it. We are being mass poisoned by these people, and Democrats are out there yelling due process. Well, how about this? How about we take this drone missile and we due process it right up your ass? How about that one? No Americans have to die. I'm not calling for an invasion of another country in order to do that. I think we just send that cruise missile in from way the hell over there and blow the boat out of the water. And if that bomb should happen to land on the Sackler family home, so be it. Richard Sackler, one of the worst people in American history, by the way. I hope he gets asshole cancer. I'm hot today. I'm hot and bothered today. Yesterday we laughed. The messages I got from you people. The messages I got from you people about that, where is he? Is he still up here? The messages I got about this guy have now been replaced with the passion I feel towards these subjects. You cannot live a prosperous life in this country if you are worried that something is going to happen to you going about your average day. Can't do it. Can't do it. And then when we actually crack down on the crime, but crime is at a historic low. No, it isn't. Reporting of crime is at a historic low. The bodies are still piling up. The rapes are still happening. But when you plead a murder down to manslaughter, you have less murders. When you plead a grand larceny down to petty theft or criminal mischief, you have less crime. What a thought. Ha ha. It's not really that hard to figure out. But now we get to talk about the thing that twists my tit more than anything else on planet Earth, and that would be the Southern Poverty Law Center. Before we get to that, guys, here's Mike Lindell.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our first ever mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save over 50% on this season's flannel sheets. Queen size only $59.98. Kings only $69.98. They sell out fast every year, so order now. Save 20% on our brand new My Crosses. They're designed in the likeness of the one I've worn every day for over 20 years. They come in men's and women's, and they're made right here in the USA. Get our 2025 six-piece My Towel sets for only $29.98. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, just $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our first ever mega sale. But wait, remember that $75 free shipping rule? Well, that ship is sailed because right now, every order ships absolutely free.
Guys, head on over to MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD. That's MyPillow.com. Promo code LOUD for up to 80% off everything on the website. Check out their mega sale today. Guys, go to MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD. Robbie, in the chat, you were asking me, can you send me a link to Nick? It is in the chat. It is x.com/Nick Sorter. Once again, guys, do me a favor and go subscribe. I'm going to put it in the comments section below the video. Also, if anybody would like to go support Nick's work, I don't normally do that, but Nick is a friend, and he deserves it. Because if you think Portland is a shithole, just think about how bad their jails are. Think about how bad their jails are. Now, let's talk about the Southern Poverty Law Center. Let's talk about these guys because, well, I don't like them. I don't like them in their current iteration. And I'm going to tell you why. There's nothing that annoys me more than when institutions that used to serve a purpose have been captured by the radical left and then, like, play on what they used to do well to give them credence for the nonsense that they're doing now. I'm talking about the ADL. I'm talking about the Southern Poverty Law Center. I'm talking about the ACLU. I'm talking about almost every union on planet Earth. I'm talking about so many institutions out there that used to do great things, but now have been co-opted by radicals who don't really care. So let's take the Southern Poverty Law Center for example. So, for those of you who don't know what the Southern Poverty Law Center is, it is a nonprofit group in Alabama. And in the 1960s and the 50s and the 60s or so, the Southern Poverty Law Center did a phenomenal job uprooting the Klan from the American South. Civil rights, lynchings, we know the history. And they did a phenomenal job on a legal perspective to really get rid of the Klan as it was. It's almost non-existent today. Sure, there's some backwoods people that still like to burn a cross, but they have no power anymore. They have no sense of what they do. Now, that was in the 1960s. That was 65 years ago. Since then, the Southern Poverty Law Center has accumulated what they call a hate map. And they play off the good name that they once had. What do I mean by this? Well, let's take a look at the old Southern Poverty Law Center. The Southern Poverty Law Center assembles a list of anti-government extremism. Anti-government groups, as you can see here, are part of the anti-democratic hard-right movement. They believe the federal government is tyrannical, and they traffic in conspiracy theories about illegitimate government leftist elites seeking a new world order. In addition to groups that are generally espousing these ideas, the movement is also composed of sovereign citizens, militias, overt conspiracy propagandists, constitutional sheriff groups. I don't even know what the hell that means. In the past, this movement has been referred to as the Patriot Movement by many of its critics. So, let's do a little Control F here. KKK. No. Oh, that's not on there. Wrong page. As you can see here, we have sovereign citizens, like QAnon people. I still don't know what QAnon even is, but whatever, that's not really the point. Militia groups in their hate and extremism. Educational or anti-student inclusion. Does that sound even comparable to the Ku Klux Klan? No, probably not, but if we Control F that a little bit loud. Oh, look at that, everybody. The Long Island Loud Majority. Can I make that a little bigger here? Can I make that a little bigger just in case you can't see it at home? So if you're watching this show right now, just know that you, according to this group that once trafficked in actual goodness, has designated you an anti-government extremist. Now, why does that matter? Kevin, what the hell does that matter for? What the hell does this matter? Well, because the Southern Poverty Law Center used to have, like, some semblance of responsibility, some credence, some credibility, people, left-wing idiots who still think that the Klan, like, marched through Mississippi, when they see an organization on these lists, it gives your local newspaper, like, I don't know, Newsday, the ability to write a story like this one. Southern Poverty Law Center lists 2 Long Island groups as anti-government. Fun fact, the photo they're using in this is actually the day I met Sean. It's actually the day I met Sean. You see Sean standing there on the truck. Big shout out to Nick Spangler, this schmuck, for writing this one. This is where they give the credence to. So here's how it works. Left-wing activists donate a shitload of money to organizations like the ADL and the Southern Poverty Law Center and the ACLU, organizations that used to have credibility. Those organizations then designate people that they do not like as whatever sort of pejorative they may feel the need to. Then that creates a reputable source for places like Newsday to lie about me. And that is how you launder ideas through the media. See, I cannot sue Newsday for saying the organization that I started with Sean is on this list, because they don't say it. They say that the Southern Poverty Law Center says it. So if I were to say that Nick Spangler, let's say I were to say that Nick Spangler of Newsday diddled kids. Let's say I were to, I'm not saying that. I read that in an article online somewhere. I'm not saying he does that. I'm saying that I read that somewhere, and now I'm reporting that I read that somewhere. Because I'm not saying it. I'm just saying what someone else said. So I'm not saying that Nick Spangler diddles kids. I'm not saying that at all. See the way they launder ideas? That's the same way they try to use this bullshit study put out that says that the majority of violence, political violence in America, comes from the right wing. And some think tank out there made up the information, leaving out all the BLM violence and not attributing 9/11 to the left wing, which it obviously is, because it certainly wasn't the right wing that led a bunch of Islamists into the country and then gave them pilot's licenses. It certainly wasn't us that did that. Also, that study that you keep hearing about how the most political violence comes from the radical right, that study starts in 1975. Why would they start it in 1975? Oh, that's right. That's right. Because if they had started it earlier, they would have had to include people like David Bowden and Bill Ayers and Bernadine Dorn and the Black Panthers and the Weather Underground and the Black Liberation Army and Assata Shakur and the blowing up of a Manhattan townhouse because they didn't know how to use a bomb correctly and the blowing up of the Capitol by the Weather Underground. They'd leave all that out. That would be like saying, according to studies, the Yankees and the Mets are basically the same baseball team if you start in 2011. You ignore the entire past and you focus on the now. You can make a study say anything you want. And that's why that study was taken off of the White House website, because it's a bullshit study. Hey, look, if you remove 9/11 from the radical left-wing violence, the radical Islamist violence, you remove 3,000 murders like that, the 100+ people who died during the BLM riots, and the Weather Underground bombings of the 1970s, you ignore all that, yeah, sure, there's no left-wing violence, sure. Sure. That would be like saying, if you cut out all the carbs in my diet, I'm actually a vegetarian. Well, if you cut out all the carbs in my diet, I actually eat healthy. Well, yeah, you're cutting out part of the damn data set. That's how they launder ideas. And that's how they can write a ridiculous article like this. an absurd article. According to Rachel Carol Rivas, who said that the loud majority is more political in its interest and involvement than most other groups. It has made, quote, what we would call threats of political violence around issues of vaccines and masking. There's also the anti-LGBTQ activity. That's probably why, like, 3 of my bosses have been gay. And targeting students and schools around issues of inclusivity. You ever hear me do that? Why? Because I say that men aren't women? What a thought. What a thought. That's a great picture, though. I'm saving that one. Today me and Sean met. That's a good one. Guys, we'll be back in 1 second before we do Old Glory one more time.
What do a neurosurgeon, a country artist, and a television and radio host have in common? They all saw the writing on the wall. Big banks sharing your financial information with big government. Join them as owners in Old Glory Bank, the pro-America online bank that protects your privacy, security, and liberty. Invest today at own.oldglorybank.com.
Guys, head on over to oldglorybank.com. That's oldglorybank.com. Boom. Let's go. Let's go. Giddy up. So we still sit on day 3 of the government shutdown, where we're monitoring all the updates right now as the Senate continues to deliberate. I believe there was a vote a little bit earlier today in order to keep the government closed, which I find pretty odd. Here is old Chucky boy speaking right now. Yeah, he actually is. Let's see what old Chuck has to say.
From Senator Chuck Schumer, he has walked up to the podium, so let's lift up the audio.
It ain't working because my caucus and Democrats are adamant that we must protect the health care of the American people. And so now, rather than working with us to end the pain Americans are feeling because of a shutdown, Republicans have instead, they've wasted a week, refused to talk, and exacerbated pain for America. Instead of trying to come to the table and negotiate with Democrats and reopen the government, the White House and fellow Republicans have vowed to make this a maximum pain shutdown, they call it. Unfortunately, the maximum pain falls on the American people, and the American people know it. They know it's not Democrats doing this maximum pain. It's Vogt and Trump and the Republicans. And so it falls on them. And so even in the White House and in the administration, there are people saying, don't do it, because the blame correctly will fall on Trump's shoulders. They're using the American people as political pawns. Why? Because they don't want to even talk to us about reopening the government by fixing health care. New data came out today from KFF. And that is not Kentucky Fried French fries. KFF could be Kentucky French fries.
He doesn't even know the name of the poll in which he's currently citing.
Excuse me. Today, new data came out from KFF, the Kaiser Family Foundation, that said that 78% of Americans say Congress should extend the ACA tax credits. 60% of people who voted for Trump said extend the tax credits. And so the Trump administration is feeling it.
What do a neurosurgeon, a country artist...
See, Remember how I just told you about laundering ideas and laundering facts? Chuck Schumer found a poll that somebody made. You don't know anything about the poll. You don't know the sample size. You don't know the margin of error. You don't know any of it. But he says it with confidence. I wonder if he asked Joe and Eileen Bailey how they feel about this. But of course, you know the truth. We know the truth. This is all about health care for illegal immigrants.
Let me break it down a little bit farther for you, too. What has happened here is that Chucky Schumer is going to the floor, and either he is lying, flat out lying to the American people, or he's not running his team that's drawing the policy up. So either he knows the truth or he's not listening to what's actually being written, because without question, it's easy to see that they strike the language out of the one big beautiful bill that doesn't allow those that came in this country illegal, which was reclassified by the Biden administration by saying that they got paroled, which they paroled 98% of the 20-plus million individuals that came across the border illegally, which isn't a legal way to do it. He just did it by executive order. What the one big beautiful bill did is say you're not eligible for taxpayer health care anymore. What their CR does adds $1.5 trillion in spending to open the government for 4 weeks and reinstates that illegal health care for that roughly 20 million individuals that came over illegally, which was paroled by Biden before he left office.
Look, we're looking at the Senate floor. It is now officially open. Senator Thune.
Yep, and it got voted down. And it got voted down yet again. But Chuck Schumer thinks you're all morons. We know the truth. We know. We know. Guys, on the way out the door, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Share the video out all over the place. Pete Santilli is coming up next if you guys want to support this show and everything we've got going on. If you're on X, I know I did a whole hell of a lot to talk about Nick today. But the best thing you can do if you'd like to support me is subscribe to my X page as well. You guys can subscribe to my X. I'll put that in the chat real quick. Here it is. Boom. Or at the very least, give me a little follow. Give me a little follow. That would really be good. Boom. There we are. There we go. Guys, I will catch you guys. Let's see. What do we got? Is Pete ready to go yet? Is Pete ready to go yet? If you guys want to click that link I put in the chat, that would be the best way to support me and everything. Or you can go to loudmajorityusa.com and use promo code RUMBLE to get 20% off everything on the website. That's promo code RUMBLE to get 20% off everything on the website. Guys, I will see you guys back on Monday. If not, I'll see you Saturday at our big Montauk event or Sunday at the St. James Street Fair. Always a good time up there. I will catch you guys. Oh, Pete's late. Pete is late today. Boom. Let's put that in the other chat so that everybody can get it too. So everybody can get it too. Let's see. Where's Pete? Is he ready to go? All right. It looks like he's ready to go, guys. I will catch you guys back live on Monday. Until then, everybody, stay loud.